I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy. Double off deuce, ayy. That just might work, ayy. That just might work.
Welcome back to another episode of the Michel Matters Podcast. I'm Jocks Michel.
And I'm Jackie Michelle.
Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
Episode 42.
Yes.
Is
it 42?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 42.
42.
So what's up? What's been going on the last couple of weeks?
A lot.
What do you call a lot?
So we went to Turks and Caicos.
Hey.
I feel like, I don't know, it feels not that far.
What, that we've been gone? Yeah,
yeah.
It's been, because the last episode was a pillow talk and you didn't want to get into it.
No.
And so yeah, it's been like a good month almost since we went.
Yeah. I feel like that was good. We needed that. Celebrated 5 years.
Yes.
And I feel like I've just been restful ever since we got back.
Yeah?
Like, I've been busy and doing things, but sleeping early.
I think that's just this week. For sure we went to sleep early, like, every night this week.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good to, like, just get away, not have anything to do, not have anybody to, like, you know, answer emails for or whatever. So nice out there.
Yeah, that was the...
Lots of Haitians out there.
Definitely. That was, like, the bluest water.
Yeah.
Like, it was super, like, clean. The beach was really clean.
Yeah.
I'm big into, like, clean for stuff like that. I am.
But you know why it's so clean? Because it's so small.
I guess, but...
There's not that much maintenance, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know what they do to that water. I don't know how much chlorine they threw in there, but...
Chlorine in the beach?
I don't know. I never seen a beach that, like, clear before.
So the island that we were on, we were standing on almost one end of the island.
Yeah.
And you could see the other end of the island. That's how small it was.
Yeah, I mean, Turks is definitely small.
You're not going to, like, have to upkeep much because the population is not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the factors.
I guess. But it's just also, I'm talking about the quality of the water.
So God was just like, I'm going to just want you guys to have clean water.
But where have you seen...
Miami? Yeah,
because the other place was like, we went to a beach in Mexico one time.
Yeah.
That was clear. Like, that was really nice. But this was like a level above that.
Yeah.
Like, that
was like the highest level.
I'm mad I didn't like snorkel. That was the only thing I was mad about because I know you could see straight down. So it would have been good.
Yeah, and snorkeling was included.
Like I said,
like
I'm mad that I didn't snorkel. Because that probably would have been fun.
Yeah. I'm like paddleboarding?
Yeah, you'd paddleboard it.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was.
It was.
I mean...
You had fun recording me?
Yeah. That was the other thing. I was like the photographer of the weekend.
No. Just of that activity.
Nah, I did some others. I had some shots now. Jackie thought she was killing it. She had like a little hair flip shadow pic.
Whatever.
I took care of that. And then, it was just a good time. Celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, what else?
You have a guy's trip.
Yes, guy's trip is coming up.
You don't have to say where you're going.
I wasn't going to,
oh.
But okay. No, we got a guy's trip. It's about 10 of us going. We already got the Airbnb booked, so we will be out of here Friday. It's just a weekend thing.
Yes.
What do you say that? But when I'm gone, you gonna be calling. Don't be blowing up my phone.
No, I'm not. Trust me. I'm gonna be asleep.
It's gonna be a weekend, probably full of like, I don't know, pretty much football,
I'm gonna be
self-care.
I'm gonna eat cereal for dinner.
Yeah. But
I'm not gonna cook anything. It's gonna be great.
I feel like girls always take girls trip. I think, a guy's trip, something different. Just get the boys out.
Yeah.
A couple of the dads get some time away from the kids, the wife, and just hang out, some camaraderie for a couple of days. So.
Are you guys gonna go see a game or something?
We were going to, but the game didn't work out with the schedule that we had, so not gonna be able to do that. But either way, it's gonna be a good little break.
Yeah. I was a vendor.
Yes.
I was a pop-up vendor at Freehand Hotel in conjunction with Trend Walk. And that was my first pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It was hot. It was hot, but I got to meet a lot of other vendors, a lot of people just browsing through my things, or people wanting to start a collection of their own. So it was cool just to see people react to my stuff in person instead of like online. So I'm going to do a couple other pop-ups. I feel like once you get your feet wet, it's like, oh, let's just keep going.
So what did you learn from that first? Because it's your first one, so...
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even sell.
Yeah.
Like, so I just learned to be personable.
I guess. Do you think it was that, or do you think it was just it wasn't a great location? Or...
I don't think it was necessarily the market for me.
Yeah, so how are you going to pick them next time, I guess?
I don't know.
Trial and error, I guess.
The next one I'm thinking of doing is a wellness-based one.
Okay.
Since I do sustainable fashion, so I feel like it kind of goes together.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And it's on the mainland instead of the beach.
Okay.
So I feel like it'll probably get more traffic because not everybody lives on the beach. But yeah, and then some of the other vendors were telling me like, oh, you would sell it in this market, or you would do good at this pop-up or whatever. So yeah.
Okay. And I think lastly, yesterday, so everybody knows, I coach basketball. I used to coach football.
Oh yeah.
The school that I coach at, football is back. And they had their first game yesterday. Mm-hmm. I left work early, all of that, like super invested in that. So I went and they won. It was a good game. So shout out to them. That was fun. And I just feel like I had to talk about that because I was proud.
Yeah.
Football's back.
You're proud now.
Yeah. And today the Canes play the Gators. So I had the U. Just so you know what day we're recording on. I guess I gave it away, but either way.
Doesn't matter.
No, it don't matter. But go Canes. That's a big one tonight. And happy birthday, Aubrey. Sorry, very random.
Okay.
I know.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, subscribe and rate us on iTunes. That helps us out a lot. Send us comments on SoundCloud or on the gram at Jackie I Michelle, and Twitter
at Coach_JOX.
You're getting better at that.
Right?
And if you want to support the podcast, check the links that we have with our sponsors that we're partnered with. Let's move on. Yeah. Current matter. Well, this actual episode is about our guest coming up that is paid off
a large sum of money.
Yes.
In a reasonably small amount of time.
Yeah, less than 2 years. They paid off $82,000 in debt. So I wanted to see like what's going on out there that maybe like celebrities are talking about as far as their debt or their budgeting, because a lot of how like you help yourself to pay off debt is to budget. Mm-hmm. So I did see a story that's like very recent. We've talked about this at home. Was a football player?
Yeah. Yep.
Football player named Adrian Peterson, and how he is like broke basically right now.
Yeah.
Do you know like off the top?
I know a little bit. So the story is, it started I believe in 2017 or 2016.
It's something about a payday loan.
Yeah, it wasn't a payday.
Well,
they're not giving out $4 million payday loans.
No, that's what interest, ain't it?
No, I think originally it was a $4 million loan.
Okay.
Then apparently he never made the first payment. So it was like a $200,000 payment.
Yeah. And
he missed the payment. So his interest rate jumped from like 15 to 23% or something like it was something crazy. And he ended up defaulting on the loan, and I think they ordered him to pay, I believe it was the $4 million, and then on top of it, like another $2 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. He had to pay on the loan. So I'm not sure, but what I think ended up happening was he took out another loan to pay that loan.
Yeah. I remember that.
And he had a big issue with that. He couldn't make the payments on that loan either. and you're looking at somebody who's made over $100 million in his career, or almost, no, I'd say over 100 million, because I know he's made close to 100 playing football, but he had a bunch of endorsements when he first started.
Yeah.
So he's definitely made over $100 million in his career and can't make payments. Like, it's crazy.
That's crazy. So apparently he signed a 2-year, $5.03 million deal with Washington. Mm-hmm. And it says back in March. That's this year?
Yes.
So, and that included $1.5 million guaranteed money. So does that mean like that cancels it out?
No, not close.
Not cancels it out, but like basically you're not even going to see that money type thing.
No, he's definitely not going to see the money because he made $5.5 million before taxes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And he still got bills to pay.
Yikes.
So,
my thing is, you've made almost $100 million.
I'd say over
$100 million in your career.
Yeah.
And now you have nothing to show for it.
So
it's like,
it's bad, right?
And now you're what? Mid-30s? You're probably done with football at this point.
He is.
I would think.
I mean, the thing is, and it's always tough because people hear athlete makes large sum of money, goes broke, oh my God.
Yeah.
But they're humans, just like we're humans.
Yeah.
But think about it. So, like, he may have made 1-2 bad decisions, and it led him here. So, I know the big thing was they were saying there's more to the story, like, about the Adrian Peterson thing. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the major issues was his financial advisor had power of attorney. So his financial advisor has full access to his money. And I'm pretty sure they're the ones who were in charge of making payments on things.
Yeah.
And if they were allegedly stealing money, that could be why he wasn't making his payments.
Yeah.
So
not only that, but you have to pay. You have a team of people working behind you that you have to pay. You probably have family that you're taking care of.
Like,
you want to keep up a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's where it goes into budgeting. And I kind of want to segue into another celebrity that talked about that. So Cardi B was talking about her budget. I think that was earlier this year. And she wasn't really talking about her budget, but she was just like, I spend whatever amount of money a month, and this is why. I don't know if you want to play it.
All right, let me go ahead and play that.
You know what I hate? I hate when celebrities do something very extravagant by something very luxurious. There's people in the comments like, you could have donated that, or we going backwards. You could have done this and that with your money. And it's like, who are you to tell people what to do with their hard-working ass money? First of all, do you know that artists, celebrities, the IRS, out of every check that you make, they automatically take 45% of your check. That means in order to spend $500,000, you gotta make at least $1 million. Then, like an artist like me and a lot of rappers that I know, they literally take care of their whole family, and that's not tax deductible because the IRS don't consider that a business. On top of that, being an artist, looking good for y'all, doing all this extra shit to please y'all, that shit costs money. Like me, for example, my bills is like, I'll say about $300,000, $250,000 every single month, and I try to put it cheaper, and it's not.
So yeah, I mean, once you get past the extraness of it, she kind of talks
tax
about
deductible.
Yeah, she kind of goes into just. Yes, she makes a lot of money, but she spends a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And it's different. Like, it's easy, I guess, to pick apart people who make a lot of money. But when you look at your own life and you think about how much money you make and how much money you spend, it's kind of on the same level. It's just you don't know my bills, you don't know my expenses. Like, it's as a rich person,
if she makes $1 million a month and spends $300,000 a month. That's like you making $10,000 a month and spending $3,000. Like, right?
No,
is that the same thing?
Not even close. It's like
spending $300.
What? No.
It's early.
It definitely is. But the difference is, so even if she spends like what, a third of her income, but how much she ended up having paying in taxes.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I said $3,000 a month, and you said no.
But
if
it's
you
not
make
the same.
$10,000 a month. That's like you spending $3,000 a month.
Okay.
If you're not on Cardi's
In
level,
an apples to apples world, yes.
Yes.
But it's not apples to apples because your tax rate is not the same as hers.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just you can't count her coin.
No, of course not.
Do I think she's doing a good job with her money? Probably not. At those numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just off the top of my head, that doesn't sound right.
Because I mean, I don't know what kind of connect she has, but most of the stuff she's talking about is appearance.
It was
that was a part of it. So she was saying like to keep up with, I'm sure her makeup, whatever surgeries, whatever hair things she has to buy, clothes, jewelry, nails.
But
whatever.
she also said she takes care of her whole
she
family.
also takes care of her family, but you could also put your family in like 1 or 2 homes.
Look,
you know what I'm saying? Like, but whatever. But I'm thinking, what?
I just know.
I'm just thinking because I know at least in fashion, like most of the times when I had to send things out to celebrities and stuff, it was free. Like they were getting that stuff for free.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
she's definitely getting a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, and I'm like, Fashion Nova, I'm sure sends you tons of things just because, like, you're Cardi.
I just don't compare myself. Or I think it's too easy to like pick apart rich people because the numbers are crazy. It's like, oh, you made $1 million, you spent 500, like, but it's when you really factor in like percentage wise, like how much money they spend versus how much money you spend, we're all pretty much the same. I feel like for the most part, they're on a higher level.
Yeah,
someone who works at T-Mobile and has a bunch of credit card debt and can't make their payments is similar to Adrian Peterson who can't pay off $1 million loans. You can't even get $1 million loan, but it's.
First of all, why would you want $1 million loans? Like, what's he trying to
I
get?
don't know. I really don't know.
That's ridiculous.
I know I think it's just a lot of bad advice, a lot of not knowing. There was a room like
team was terrible.
He borrowed like $5 million from a car dealership. And I'm just like, what? How do you borrow money from a car dealership? They have some of the worst interest rates and who?
I said, ask Adrian.
Oh, I mean, listen, I just think he got into business with some bad people, some immoral people who were probably stealing money from him. And now he's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's tough, though. I mean, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for all athletes who get into these situations.
But how do you rebuild from here? Because, I mean, he still has a name.
He does.
And a brand, I guess, right?
I think it's going to be tougher for him now because, yes, he has a big name. But he's definitely had some, bad PR hits, where he got in trouble for, beating his kids excessively. That was a big deal. And he lost a lot of sponsorships and things like that are important when you're trying to get a job after the NFL, like the high paying jobs.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you want to be on TV and stuff, but, cancel culture, they'll get rid of you quick. So he's got to clean some stuff up.
Yeah.
But you got income. You got to get more money. Football's not going to be it. He's got to figure out other ways to get more money. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Good luck, Adrian.
Yeah. And good luck to them because that's a lot of money to budget.
Bro, millions. And
when you see that amount, it's almost like budget what? I have it. So
that's the thing. But when I guess once you figure out that you don't have it anymore and then the decision making on how to fix it, you took out a loan to pay a loan. You couldn't pay the first one.
Yeah.
So it's just.
But I feel like, didn't I show you something? I think it was either a video or an article or something where some guy was giving someone advice to try to pay off their mortgage. Mm-hmm. And he had maybe $50,000 or less left on his mortgage. And he was like, okay, well, I'll just pay it with my credit card.
Okay,
so
that's
that
a
I
terrible
can,
idea.
yeah, so that I can get points.
Oh my god.
And like all this stuff, and then also it's a lower interest rate on
Not-
your card.
No, it's not true.
This is what he said.
That's
I
terrible.
feel like I showed you this.
No, I never
a
saw
long
this.
time ago, and I was like, "Can you do
What
that?
was
You
the
can
other
pay your
husband?
mortgage with a. You can pay your mortgage with a credit card.
You
Like,
can't either.
That don't even make sense.
You can't.
So anyway, yeah, but some people, that's probably the advice they gave them.
So
Like,
it's
you can
just
pay this loan off.
yeah,
pay
it's
this
just when
loan.
you have that much money and any amount of money, it's your education on just your finances, your own finances,
Yeah.
and worth. Like you can't. I mean, you pay these people, you trust these people. That's why it's tough for the guys who are like athletes who they don't know this stuff. They pay people who should know this stuff,
Right.
and they rip them off. So I feel bad for them.
Yikes. Well, when we're gonna move on, you're gonna see how
Yeah.
regular people
We
budgeted
thought
and
through it.
actually paid off their debt.
So let's get into that. Look forward to it. All right.
All right.
On to Michel Matter. Okay, so for this week's Michel Matter, we have a good friend of mine. We've known each other since probably first grade. Kindergarten. Gee,
Wow.
yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, my guy, Ehren Sixon.
Hey guys, bippity boppity, give me the zoppity, guys.
Yeah.
That's the new black man phrase I learned this week.
What?
What phrase
I don't
is
know
that?
any black man that use that.
Dude, they're from The Office. Daryl taught Michael the new black man phrase before he got a raise.
Oh.
Bippity
Alright.
boppity, give me the zoppity.
Oh,
I missed
he
that
was.
episode. I missed that
No,
episode.
I remember. But he was like playing games. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, he
He
wasn't
had
being
to do
serious.
And if you're not watching the YouTube video, Ehren has on a Dunder Mifflin shirt.
Yeah.
So you know what the vibes is.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
We on the Office vibe. So yeah, we've been on a mostly financial kick lately. We talked about Johnny with real estate. If you haven't caught that episode, go back and listen to it. And yeah, so this week we brought on Ehren to talk about an amazing journey. So I can't remember where I first saw it. Maybe it was on Instagram or it was on Facebook. And he had like an emotional rant. No, I don't know if it was emotional, but it was just, it seemed like, he was really happy, and they kept putting up like this number, like $82,000 in 23 months. I was like, what is he talking
Like
about?
a
What's
whole
going
photo
on?
shoot. And
Yeah, and I
everything.
was just like, oh, did he pay that off in that minute? So Ehren and his wife, they were able to pay off $82,000 in 23 months.
Less than 2 years.
Like, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely delve into that. But to start off, Ehren, it's been a while. Tell me a little about yourself. I know you play with gadgets for a living.
Oh, man.
I know you're a tech guy.
Yeah.
So what's been going on since high school, pretty much?
Yeah. So, hey everyone, my name is Ehren Sixon. It's actually spelled Ehren. It's not Aaron. Not like that substitute teacher skit in the Key and Peele. Hey, Aaron.
I've seen it, but okay.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
Oh,
I missed the first joke. You gotta catch this.
All right, so yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I grew up with your hosts, Jocks and Jackie, since school times,
Yeah.
and I gotta admit, one of the things that I did for like my duty in school every time I seen Jocks was to basically kick him out of class. That was my sole duty, and I was very successful
A few times.
a lot of times.
How did you
because
do that?
Because I was
Oh,
in it
man.
with the teachers. Like,
You
hey,
know,
let's kick out Jocks today. Let him check the weather.
Granted, I didn't help. I definitely didn't always behave.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but Ehren definitely was that guy.
yeah. So it's been a while. I mean, dang, it's been a long time.
What do you do for work?
What do I do? So basically, I am an RFID systems engineer. I deal with RFID technology. RFID stands for radio frequency identification.
Mhm.
So it's like those little tags or
Tags,
smart
yeah.
labels that have that microchip data. Microchips that have houses data inside to like identify, locate, and track.
Mhm.
Think SunPass. So
Okay.
a little sun pass on your car.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a chip in there. I deal with that with the airline industry, the aerospace industry. So I basically, as a system engineer, I configure systems, I configure systems, hardware and software. I usually talk to the client end users to make sure that we satisfy their business needs. I'm sent around the world for
Yes,
yeah. So
I've seen that. So, like, what are some places like your work has taken you? Because I've seen you on some nice planes.
Yeah, it's always gonna be business class for me though.
Oh, cool. Hey,
I've been spoiled about that.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so I think a few places that I've been to Fiji, I've been to Hong Kong, London. Last May I was in Saudi Arabia, and
Nice.
I was in Dubai also. Actually, in November I'm going to be in Singapore, so I'm gonna be there for a bit.
You got any
Cool.
space left in your passport?
Oh, right, yeah. Man, my pages are like filling up. I might have to get another one.
Yeah.
So, what's been your favorite place? Because we love to travel. So, tell me what's one place like, oh, you'd like that?
Man, all of them I can't. If like some people at work is listening, all of them were great. But if I had to choose, I really liked Fiji.
Yeah.
Fiji was really good. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like the same weather, but like it's just a different vibe. Like, just imagine jet skiing through the Fijian Islands. It's
Wow.
such a different like experience.
Yeah.
I'm not that rich yet, but I soon will. Soon come. Once we'll talk about it. Yeah, you can do these things. I like that. That's nice. So, unfortunately, your wife's not here. You know, your better half, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So,
That is my better. For sure.
So, it's been a while. So, how did you and your wife meet?
All right. So, my wife's name is Divine. Shout
That's
out
a
to
nice
my
name.
Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, I think I met her before you guys
We
got
have.
married.
Oh,
I
not
definitely
before.
did. Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
At church, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
at
I
church.
met her at
You
church.
guys,
Yeah.
with you guys, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, shout out to my wife, my beautiful wife, Divine. Yeah, we met back in 2005 at a youth event at our church. But basically, our love story didn't like cultivate until like 3 or 4 years later.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you guys remember AO Instant Messenger.
Of course.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Northwest
one of the
22nd
things.
Ave,
You still remember your
I didn't even live on
Street
22nd
name.
Ave. And I was
Yeah,
Aye,
so
aye, aye.
it was there. Like our basically our love grew from friendship, and let's just say I basically married my best friend.
hey.
Nice.
Yeah, so and I'm very undeserving. She's just the best gift that God has given me. And Jocks, I gotta let you know, we have been blessed to have such strongly godly women by our side.
You're right.
Aw.
But don't sell yourself short. You did. You did too, baby.
Oh, man.
And what does she do for work?
She is a registered nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, and right now she's at work, but she's actually in the labor and delivery unit.
Okay.
So
Oh,
she's delivering
fun.
babies.
Okay.
That's
What
fun.
hospital?
Um,
Oh, sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
we
mean
put
to-
it up there.
My
You know.
bad. It's just because we know people. I think we know people at that
Yeah,
hospital.
well, there's a lot of
Yeah.
they're not gonna know.
I think my aunt works there. And baby something. What do they call it?
Labor and delivery, or a
Right.
baby, a mother baby.
Yeah, mother baby.
Mother
yeah,
baby.
mother baby.
So I'm learning these things too.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't even know
Yeah.
what those are.
So you guys basically conquered a big financial feat in your relationship, right?
Yes.
When did you guys start talking about finances? Was it in the dating process or like in the best friend stage? Like what?
Okay, so basically, during our dating stage, I gotta be real with you guys. I was broke.
Mhm. I
mean-
think everybody was.
I was broke. I was still in college. Me and my wife were still in college. We were working minimum wage, and of course, we're trying to get a degree. But I can tell you like a story about like during the dating stage where I remember so vividly. We went to like a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant. After we went to, like from class, we went to this restaurant. We got the bill. I paid for the bill. I put a 30-cent tip to the bill
Oh
because
my God.
I wanted to round it to the nearest dollar, and I honestly couldn't afford to add a few more dollars to
Yeah.
the tip. But I kid you not, once our server got the bill, she saw it, and then she went to another server, and of course they started speaking in Mandarin because it was a
Okay.
Chinese restaurant.
Wow.
And just the body expression, the language, the tone, and I'm walking like, oh boy.
You already knew.
And I'm like, oh, this is an awkward walk leaving the restaurant. It was like an eternity. And I'm like, okay, see you, bye-bye. Never went back, but it was just an unbelievable like learning like how to tip.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've been tipping very well after that.
Yeah.
But definitely, I mean, in our mindset, we knew that we couldn't afford a lot, and we knew that it's not our money. We're not even married at that time, so we knew that it's her money, it's my money. We don't like. I'm not sure like in social media today or like even today's society, they think if you're in a like boyfriend girlfriend stage, you think that you guys have the money together. No, it's not your money yet until like you say I do.
Right.
So we knew that, and I guess we were countercultural. And so we waited until later on. We got our like milestones in place, graduate, get our job, and of course the next step is to marry. Yeah. So like in 2014, we got married. I proposed to her, and we had a 10-month engagement process.
Okay.
So within that 10 months, we planned everything. Our wedding, everything, honeymoon, getting ready for the apartment, the furniture, everything in between. It costs $30,000 to $40,000.
Okay.
And we paid that off. Like we didn't accumulate any debt after the wedding.
Nice.
Okay.
So I guess it was kind of foreshadowing. Like we knew like we didn't want to have debt later on.
Right.
But we didn't have that emotional sense of urgency to like think like, oh, debt is not that bad or debt is bad.
So at the time, like, well, do you think it was a unconscious decision? Like you guys just ended up paying for it like straight out, or was it like a, hey babe, look, we're gonna pay for this, no credit cards, we're just gonna go ahead and pay cash? Or was it a conscious decision or unconscious? Like you just did?
It was a former. It was a conscious like okay, let's just do this. But we never like even said like, oh, we're not putting any debt. We're just like, okay, how much of this? Oh, okay, we gotta do this now. Like,
let's save for it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how did you know? Like, did you go into the marriage knowing like, okay, she has debt? Did she know that you had debt? Like, how did that conversation
Gotta be
happen?
honest to your audience, to your fans here. I had the most of the debt.
I mean, engineer.
Yeah. I had the most of that because I was kind of stupid. I guess, like in college, I opened a credit card. I thought, like, people were telling me, oh, get a credit card. It's used for an emergency. And that's now sounds blasphemous because, like, why would you use it as an emergency and for, like, using someone else's money? Like, that's not your money and you're using it as an emergency.
Yeah.
And then later on, like, oh, I got these student loans. And let me tell you, I had a full ride to college.
Okay.
But like when you open your student portal, you get a list, you get a little notification like, oh, these student loans are open to you. And it's so easy to click accept. And I'm like, oh, I clicked accept. And I'm like, I need pocket money. I can pay some of the bills at home.
Hold on. You had a full ride
Yes, I did.
to college.
I did.
And you still got student loans.
Yeah, I was not thinking at the time because it was so easy to click accept. There was no pop-up warning afterwards. Like, oh, you got it. Okay.
Now, how much was that loan that you had to click accept for?
Man, I think the starting balance was probably like $25,000. And yeah.
So you wanted $25,000 pocket money?
Yeah. So I really messed up that moment. I didn't think about it like because I guess most college students think like, okay, after I graduate, I'm gonna get a good job and I immediately can pay this off. But
no problem.
the real world it's hard. It's a challenge.
For sure.
So that's crazy, right? But like now, I mean, you're a first generation college student or
no? I'm for here, yes. In the States, yes.
So it's like, is that one of those things? Like, do you think you weren't prepared? Like maybe your mom or like was it ever spoken about? Like, look, we don't want to take loans or. Because I'm assuming this is something now, like, when you have children, you'll be like, look, we're not doing that. No. Like, do you think, was that discussion had, or was it just you being a rebel and going out there and doing it?
So, growing up about money and debt, it was not basically discussed to me transparently. I mean, I knew that when you work, you earn money. And when you be in debt, you're basically borrowing from someone else.
Yeah.
But I think one of the problems growing up is that, I mean, shout out to my mom. She worked so hard. She's a single parent mom. She did what she can to provide a great life for me and my brother. And now we're both engineers and doctors here. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I think one of the problems growing up is the lack of education and knowing how to handle money. Yeah. And to also the role models. We hadn't have like a lot of people in our lives like, hey, this is what we're doing with our money, our personal finances. And this is what you need to avoid and need to do. Like, we didn't see that. I mean, I got a credit card, like I said. I got a credit card. because I thought it was like everyone gets a credit card. I got the student loans because I thought everyone gets a student loan.
Mm-hmm.
It's a normal thing, but now it's crazy. Everyone's having a hard time just to finish school because of this.
Right.
I got a car. I mean, I got the job. I got a car. I bought my mom a car, and I thought like,
You was
$25,000.
Dude.
I was like,
Let me
okay.
hold the dollars.
So I was like, man, I think this is a normal thing. Like you do all these, you buy all these things because everyone's doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but later on, then that's where we realized, being normal is being broke.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that we realized: being normal is not what we want to do. We want to be weird.
Yeah.
Hey.
We talk about it all the time too. Like when our parents are not from here, they may have had, thriving careers or whatever it is where they came from. But then when you come here, it's a whole new game. Like this is not the same currency. It's not the same way that you get your job and whatnot. Not the same language. So, they're probably learning at the same time as us how to handle money
For sure.
in this country too. But yeah, so once you clicked accept, right? Because I have to go back. Once you clicked accept, did you know that you now accumulated debt, or were you just like, cool, $25,000?
Yeah. So basically,
Let's live life.
Yeah. Right. So when I clicked on it, like, okay, you have this now. It's gonna be processed to your whatever bank that's linked to it. Okay, good. I can buy my books. I can use pocket money. I can help around the house with some bills.
Yeah.
But I think it hit me once I graduated, like, whoa, because it's going to start hitting you like, hey, you need to pay this back.
With interest.
With interest. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I don't even have even an emergency fund or anything, like something saved, and I'm already starting to pay stuff already. Like I was not even set up like for this adulting the right way. So I guess a lot of millennials are having this type of scenario or issue where they're coming out of college, but they're not starting on the right foot.
Yeah.
They're like way behind. Their net worth is on a negative.
Right.
So and that's how I felt like, oh, I'm not ready, and I had to do a lot of things just to tackle it.
So in the end, when you guys are married and you're finally setting up a budget together for the first time, how much debt did you have, and then how much debt did she have?
Oh man, I don't know the numbers per se, but I know I had at least 80% or 80 or 90. I know because my wife can't she handled money well. Okay. I gotta admit, she did a great job with her finances. I didn't, and at some point, like I thought, man, I'm messed up. I don't want to bring this to our next chapter of lives. I have to do something. So that's, I guess, it started to build up. I see there was those building blocks of trying to hey, this is it. I've had it. I'm not gonna be this person anymore. We're gonna do something about it.
What was that exact moment? Was there this is it, we're done, no more debt? What was that moment like? Okay, so that moment was when I was washing dishes and my wife says, let's get a house soon. And I'm deep in thought, okay. And then I went later on, I was like, I finished the dishes. I went to the computer and I started researching, wait a minute. Owning a home is pretty expensive. It's perhaps the biggest purchase anyone's life.
For sure.
So I thought about no, we can't get a house yet because we see all this mess, we see all this debt around us. So I started searching. I went on YouTube, went on Google, and I found this guy named Dave Ramsey. Hey. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys know who Dave Ramsey is. So I found this guy, and I'm watching how to buy a home, blah blah blah. And I started to see other videos like the debt-free screams. Now I'm seeing people shouting, screaming, tears of joy, shouts of victory. I'm they if you see their faces, they have so much hope and relief. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And they're paying off these debts and whoa, and a short amount of time or just a zillion tenths. And can we do this? Because it looks like if we're able to do this, we can actually get a home. It seemed possible, but again, I was still deep in thought, trying to figure out, I don't know if this is for us. I've never seen anyone in my circle of friends or anyone I know who has done this type of journey. And I'm like, can we actually do this? So that's where the process began. I mean, later on, 2 months in, I started binge watching everything, trying to consume as much information as possible so I can understand where this guy's going at, because sometimes, like, you know, you have to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what this guy is doing. It could be a pyramid scheme. My mom said he was a pyramid scheme.
Dave Ramsey?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, like, she said that, like, you gotta be careful. Like, I don't know. It looks like it's legit. People are coming to this show.
Yeah.
So just paying off debt and just announcing it to the world. And I'm like, huh. So, yeah, 2 months of just binge watching, and then it came to the point where I told my wife, like, I'm gonna write the smallest debts in order from smallest to largest on just the 3 smallest ones, and we're gonna earmark the debt, put extra money to all these 3 debts, and see how well it goes. Sure enough, we were able to pay those 3 debts ahead of schedule, like 2 or 3 months early.
Nice.
So that's when it was game on.
Yeah. Did you guys have to sacrifice anything or like change your budget a little bit?
Oh, we sacrificed a lot. I mean, we sacrificed. Well, the thing is, and I gotta say this, like, you shouldn't tell your wife what to do if you don't tell them why you're doing it.
Talk about it.
So,
Both ways.
okay, both ways. Yeah, sure. You shouldn't, like, your spouse. You're supposed to.
I like where we're going here.
Supposed to know. You're supposed to define your why, because I nagged my wife. I was like, hey, we gotta do this. No vacation. We're not going out to eat. No more Target until further notice.
No Target.
Oh man, I kid you not. Things are flying in the house. Words were said. I'm bobbing, weaving in the house, trying like, wait a minute, and I realized, man, we have to be on the same page, but we have to realize not everyone's on the same page as you. So I had to understand, like, I had to show kindness and patience to help her realize, like, look, this is the light of the tunnel that I see, and the reason why I see it is because of these reasons, and I want you to know that if we do this, this is where we're going to be later on.
That's a really good, like, because I guess that gets lost in this whole thought process of a lot of times people don't want to sacrifice. That's the big thing. People don't want to let go of the things that they, you know, what they hold to as necessarily important. So in that phrase, like, you were the first one, like, you were, this is what we're going to do. Like, was there, because clearly your wife was still holding on to things. What, was there a compromise, or did she, like, once you did explain yourself, or she's like, okay, I see where you're coming from? Or was there like okay, look, maybe I was a little too, you know, extreme, and maybe we can hold on to this? Like, what was the, I guess, like, compromise, or was it just you guys got on one accord after that conversation? Right.
So, I mean, it did take a while, I gotta admit, because it's something new to both of us, and I did a lot of the research. So all she is she's basically depending on me to relay the message to her in the best way possible, easiest way possible, like in a simple term. So I'm like, this is what we need to do. We do this, we go, and that's it. I didn't involve her. I needed to involve her in the process. Because it didn't make sense for me to force this upon her if she was not involved entirely and giving the full support. So once I did that, I told her, like, hey, if we do this together, we're gonna change our family tree. And once we do this, it's gonna be hard, but if we both pray, if we both got our backs for each other, then we'll be fine.
That's also very good. So just listening to you talk, right? Like, I catch a lot of the Dave Ramsey-isms. Like, you know, change our family tree, and like, so those are things that are like, if you listen to Dave Ramsey or if you watch Dave Ramsey, you'll catch, like, he has his principles. He has his, and that's one thing that I think was pivotal in our marriage. Like, we actually did a financial peace class before we got married. And it was something that was mandatory for our premarital counseling, was we had to have taken some form of financial course, preferably Dave Ramsey's financial peace. That's amazing. Yeah, that was, like, actually Northwest is starting a course this Tuesday.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I think it started this week.
Oh, maybe it started last Tuesday. Yeah. So we've been doing financial peace at our church. I mean, since before we were married, so it's been over 5 years.
Wow.
And I think those principles are so key, like, from especially because we started doing it before we got married. Like, we've been on one accord ever since. And I think that's, like, especially in a relationship, because it's one thing when you're by yourself and you're doing it, it's easy. Or not easier, it's easier. There's no wrestling. It's
no one's keeping you accountable.
It's your thought process. But when it's two different people, there's difference of opinion. There's like what do you think was the hardest thing to let go of between you and your wife? Like, look, no, we're not gonna do this, or we're going to, like, what was probably the fighting moment? Because I know for me, Jackie keeps trying to, like, oh, we don't need cable. We need cable, okay? I'm not letting go of my cable.
Yeah, we don't even have debt right now, and I'm like, we can just stop paying cable.
Stop trying
like,
to cut my cable.
Right.
I need
but whatever.
I think it's leisure for us. I mean, like going out to eat. I mean, one of the things that I'm not sure if you guys are dealing with this, but food is a way you can overspend with food.
For sure.
Like eating out.
Yeah, eating out.
For sure.
You can overspend, and that's one of the things that we had to like tackle together. Like, hey, we can't go out too much because we need to save. And I think one of the things that I nagged her so much is like, we need to add more. We need to add more to the debt. Like, we need to pay more. It's like, wait, we need like to enjoy. And the thing is, again, this is another Dave Ramsey term. I'm the nerd. She's the free spirit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love to do the numbers. I see it every day. My wife enjoys life to the fullest. And I think that's a great combination, especially when where opposites attract.
Yeah.
The free spirit actually brings me back like to reality. Like, hey, you need to enjoy life too.
That's
like,
him.
I'm
the nerd.
definitely.
There you go.
I'm the nerd.
I mean, yeah, because that was one of my things. Like, don't make an exorbitant amount of money or nothing like that, but it's like, look, I make enough money that I don't have to be broke. Okay, so it's like, yes, I'm 100%. We have goals, but I also think fun could be budgeted in.
Right.
Like, we can budget in fun a little bit.
See, like you and me, Jackie, I was too cynical. Like, I was like thinking like, yo, we need to get this done. But like, but then of course, Jox and my wife, they're like, oh, we can do it and have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't see that. Like, I wanted to have fun afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So I.
No. Yeah, I think that's great. I feel that same dynamic.
Yeah.
Like with Pinch Your Penny over here.
Yeah, I'm definitely the nerd. So what was the first debt you guys paid off?
Okay, so the first debt was my student loans.
Okay.
They were the smallest, and I hated them the most. But so I wrote it down, and it's, guys, there's so much power when you write things down.
Yeah.
Like, there's like when you write your vision down, there's so much power into it because it looks like you're now accountable to it, not to like just to yourself, but if you share it to other people, now you're accountable to them. Like, hey, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna pay it off. So again, I wrote those student loans down, and then we paid off 2-3 months ahead of time, and then it was game on from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you pay the last debt? Like, I know
that's a
I've
good
watched
question.
other YouTubers, like, they actually go to the bank to pay off their home, or they go, like, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
what was that moment for you guys? Or were you just in front of a screen and we're like, okay, let's count down. Let's press.
Right.
Like,
Oh, man.
I haven't thought about that.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a story about that one. Let me make sure I get this right.
I don't know.
Aaron is my not laid back friend. Like, we had
yeah,
so
man.
many discussions leading up to this. You guys don't know what it took to get this interview. Because one, I love the story. I thought it was amazing. 2 young people that paid off. People that I know, that's different too. Like, people that you actually know that paid off. Some people think $82,000 worth of debt. Like, oh my gosh, they feel so overwhelmed that they wouldn't know where to start. But like, just to see 2 people with a plan, a vision, and to conquer that, that was me. I was like, I need that story on the podcast.
Yeah, our story was kind of boring.
Yeah,
So
it was like,
it was like, oh, we have this in the savings account.
Like when I went into my student portal and I saw those links, and I was like, nope, X, because I was scared. Like,
So
I was
lucky, bro.
I was always scared of debt. My mom
Good man.
taught me. My mom taught me to fear. Like,
Never
to this
owing
day,
people.
my mom doesn't have a credit card. She has a debit card, but I have it. Like, I carry it for her.
Yeah.
Because if she needs something, she'll have to think about it twice, and she'll have to go through me.
And then she'll
It's
be
like,
like, okay, you can take it out for
Yeah,
me.
take out like such and such amount of money for me. I'm like, Mom, you could. But that's just, she's a saver. That's how I was raised. So, but yeah.
So how did you guys?
Okay, so now I just remembered. Okay, I was in Dallas, Texas. I was on a business trip, and I called my wife. I said, "Hey, I'm about to make the last payment on the last debt we had. All right, I'm about to submit. Like, okay, good, let's do it. We're excited, submit, and then we didn't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't feel anything. It's like days go by, and then it was on our trip to the Philippines. After my business trip, we went to the Philippines for vacation. It was a family reunion for my wife and her family.
Nice.
And then of course there was a payday. We had a payday during a vacation, and of course, muscle memory. I'm looking like, okay, let me launch all the accounts that we need to pay. And so that's when we both realized, wait a minute, we have nothing to pay for, and we're on vacation. Literally, we saw our paycheck. We're like, we're gonna splurge, but at the same time, we splurge responsibly because we didn't want to we didn't overestimate this. Like, okay, we're gonna put some money here. Like, okay, we can actually go out and do some more things. Until like later on at home, we saw the numbers. Like, whoa, we just gave ourselves a raise during vacation.
That's crazy.
We gave ourselves a personal raise.
I never thought about it. So it's like, once, especially when you're on a plan, like you're attacking it, every dollar is like accounted for. Once it was all paid off, like how long did it take to readjust? And like, I guess you have to create new goals at that point. We
created new habits, yeah.
But how long did it take? Like, how long did it take? We're like, we don't have to create them yet. Like, we could wait, or what was that like? Because then it's almost new money now. Like,
it was, yeah. I mean, of course, we gave back to God, and at the same time, we realized, like, okay, we got a lot here to utilize. So we changed a few things. I mean, of course, like in the beginning, like our starting point of being debt free, we went out, we celebrated, and we were like, okay, let's get a few things, because we worked hard at this. We worked hard for so long, and we made it to the other side. Then later on, we started defining new goals, and I guess it took a bit, because now we don't have that gazelle intensity as paying it off. I mean, it's still there. We have some type of urgency to make sure we finish the next step, which is like to save for an emergency fund and get everything set for not like a house or something. And so it took maybe a month or so to get into a new groove.
Yeah.
So you're a Dave Ramsey man. I know one of the things he talks about, especially when you have a lot of debt, or is building your income. Did you have to like get a second job or like do anything like extra, or was it just budgeting your money, like, and being more focused?
Especially your wife as a nurse too. I'm sure she could have picked up more hours and whatnot.
Jackie, you are absolutely right. Yeah. So as a nurse, she was flexible to get a few more shifts in different places, and I think for me it was mostly of not the income, is more of the outgo. Like I was more conscientious of like what we're going to spend on, instead of what's coming into us for like on our side. So we worked on how it worked. We worked like a plan to make sure we're still keeping stride and going like in a progressive manner, going up. But yeah, I mean the extra shifts there, being mindful of what we're spending. Yeah, so I mean we were more lenient afterwards, but we still had a structure in place.
Yeah,
nice.
What was like the number one place you saved money? Like where you went to road is like, why? Like, because that's the first thing is like, where is my money going? When you first create a budget, you're like, I waste so much money on this. Like, what was one of those things or areas?
Oh, for sure, it was the restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
you guys are foodies. You look like
my wife's a foodie.
Yeah.
Let me tell you now, like she forced me to get a Yelp account. And because she wants me to be part of these like Yelp events.
Oh, this one
That's
over here.
Yeah, I've gone to like 2. So
see, there you go. See, I'm like, oh, it's fun.
They're like, oh, you review a lot. I'm like, come out to this.
Yeah. So like my wife is that. So, the food is it's hard. I mean, we love food. Who doesn't, man?
Because it's just like, I think for us, one of the places that I felt like we saved the most early on in our relationship was our petty cash. Like when we first started doing the budget, I felt like we gave each other like way too much money for petty cash. Yeah. Now let me not say we. Jackie thought we gave each other way too much money for petty cash.
We did though.
I was fine. I was okay with it. And now seeing like, I guess I can survive off what I have now for petty cash. But back then you couldn't tell me that. Like it's just once we like really write it down on paper and you sacrifice a little bit, it gets easier and easier. But I think that was like one of the number one areas when we first started like budgeting that we save money.
I think it was the mindset of not using the card. It was like, this is what we're going to need, so let's take it out in cash. Yes. And then that's what we'll use. So I didn't really do the envelope system, but because of the budget, it was like, okay, you need this. Yeah, like this water bill, we can pay with the card. Like all the bills, we'll pay in the card. And then your haircuts or whatever, cash. Gotcha. And then me going out with my friends, cash. And if I don't have it, I'm not going out with you. Like, that's it.
There you go.
You know, so I think we just had to train our minds to spend differently.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about behavior.
Yeah.
Like if you're able to behave, you don't have to worry about knowing so much about money. So if you can, like Dave Ramsey says, 80% is personal behavior, 20% is head knowledge.
Yeah.
If you can get the guy or get the person in the mirror to behave, then you're gonna be financially well off.
Dave, you got to get this guy. Okay.
Are you guys gonna do a debt-free scream?
We're planning to in the future.
Okay.
Because there's another goal we want to finish. We want to hear Dave call us weird. So.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah, we're there too.
We're like that's one of our pastimes. Is like when we go on long drives or just drive, we'll throw on Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, because it's like
videos.
a 3-hour show. We're just like, well, we'll make it to Tampa in 3 hours.
So I'm not saying we're weird, but we're not normal.
Yeah,
and I definitely credit a lot of that to Dave Ramsey. So that's one thing. If you guys listening to this episode, if you don't know, I would recommend checking it out. Is Dave Ramsey on YouTube. He has a lot of great information. It's simple principles that people know, but I guess we just, we'd rather not adhere to. But if you commit to them, I think they're a big help.
Yeah. It's like handling money grandmas in God's way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Because
it's like, that's how my mom treated money, is very, save, credit for what? Like, it's, when you really think about, like, why do people care so much about credit? Granted, credit matters, but it doesn't matter at the same time, because once you have cash is king. So it's just putting an importance more on your money than your credit lines, or it's really what you have. That's how you win, is money that you actually have.
Yeah. So. Now, I just want to put out there again that this was $82,000.
$82,000, yes.
So a lot of people our age would probably be like, I don't want to spend that money on paying off debt. I could use that to get another house or to accumulate more, to accumulate more debt that would actually build my wealth, quote unquote.
Right.
So how did you guys settle in your minds that paying this off was actually going to benefit you guys?
Well, we've learned that debt can prevent you from living the life that you want. That is a liability. If you leave it there, I mean, whether it's good debt or bad debt, whatever you say it is, if it's not paid off, something's going to happen to you. So we realized we don't want this in our life. We don't want to owe anyone.
Yeah.
And we want to handle God's money the right way. I mean, one of the things that I've learned is that if you handle God's money the right way, the consequences of handling it the right way, you ultimately become wealthy. Now, that's a good problem to have. I want that problem. So we realized, like, okay, we have to put our foot down, no more borrowing, and in terms of consumer debt, and take this away from our life, because it's not really necessary to leave it there like a pet.
Right.
Did you guys have any, like, hiccups along the way? Like, were there any moments, like, an emergency hit, or maybe you had to, like, take out a small, like, line of credit for something? Like, did any hiccups happen along the way?
Thank God nothing did. But of course, we had a starter emergency fund of $1,000. If anything did happen, we would be able to tap into that. And then if we did, we would build it up again as fast as we can, and then continue our debt attack.
Nice.
So
you guys now are what, baby step number 3?
We are in baby step number 3B, which is to save for a house.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
so we're there. We're almost there. So getting to the next chapter of our lives. So
So I know.
Trying to get to you guys' level.
You mentioned that your mom said Dave Ramsey was a pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah.
She thought.
He thought. Have you gotten any? Did you get any other, like, negative feedback? I know it wouldn't be necessarily negative, but people like, well, why can't you do this, or why don't you do this? Like, Do you think you got any of that?
Oh yes. Honestly, to your audience, we had a lot of detractors and a lot of people who did not support us at all.
Yeah.
So many. Here's some of the things that they said to us. That's nice. Good for you. That is the American dream. Nah, that's not for me. You do you, boo boo. And I'm like, and it's basically they were making fun of us because we're doing something so out of the norm. No one has ever done it before. And I remember one time I was speaking to a friend like, hey, I found out this guy and it actually may work. And I want this like for us. I want this for your family. Let's do this together, bro. Let's do this together. And he was like, nah, man, there's a lot of things. I need the money now. Like, I don't need to worry about that now. And like, no, we got to do it. Like, we have to because later on you will have more in your pocket. Yeah. So unfortunately, he didn't do it with us. And later on, he saw what happened and he came back and said, wow, congratulations, yo. That's something amazing. And then I don't know if our journey humbled them or the people that like didn't believe us, but the same people started coming back to us for strategies. Like, how'd you guys do it?
And that's what I was going to ask next. Like, now that those people see where it's taking you, like, how has their response been to that? Like,
man, it's funny. Like, if you do something new, something that it's out of the ordinary, they laugh at you.
Yeah.
If you are consistent with it, they'll challenge you.
Yeah.
And then if you actually do succeed, they'll congratulate you, and then later on they'll set you as the example. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that a few times, and I'm like, we have to take it as a grain of salt, and we realize we're in a position to help others. I mean, you like helping others it gives you a boost of happiness in your own life. So when it comes to helping them, we give them the strategies. Like, of course, my channel shares a lot of strategies of how our journey went through, like what we did.
You gotta shout that out.
Yeah. But first we gotta do Michel Matters. Yeah, so I gotta admit, we had a lot of negativity. I mean, even to this day, we're debt free. It's been almost a year now, and we still have friends that come to us. Like, there was another restaurant, another Chinese restaurant, or I think it was another Asian restaurant. We were like looking at the menu, and I saw there was two options. It was a buffet. I was okay. There's two options. One is a cheaper one, and then the other. And I asked the group, like, hey, which one are you guys gonna do? Like, I want to know the verdict.
Yeah.
And then one of them, like, hey, you're gonna go for the cheaper one, right? That's not on your budget, right? I was like, there's a laugh, there's a smirk around everyone that's with us, and I was about to turn Super Saiyan, guys. I was like, it was really hot, but at the same time, like, you know what? It's not our fault that we are dedicated to a process that we have in our life. Like, don't blame us for doing something different. Yeah. So we had those type of stories, man. But we have to be like forgiving, because we know that what we did is so out of the norm, so different, and it's not popular. So yeah.
Oh, so you said it. The debt is gone. How does that feel? Like, post debt, man. Like, how has it affected your marriage? Like,
yeah, how long has it been now?
Oh yeah, it's been 4 years, more than 4 years. We're about to hit our 5th year next year, so we're in the 4th year
of marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. And then how long has it been debt free?
More than a year now.
Okay.
More than a year. I mean, yeah. Again, like, sometimes we think about, like, wow, we've been debt free for a year, but at the same time, like, since we're saving for a house, we feel like we're still in the same process because the money is being accumulated to another financial goal of ours. So, but I can say that we have the ability to do what we want to do, and of course with discernment and wisdom. We don't want to like just go all out for just being stupid about it. Yeah. So it's been a great feeling. I've been telling people, like, it's so different on this side of the financial spectrum. Like, you can do so many things that you wanted to do or ever thought you didn't even think about, and at the same time you don't have to worry about someone hovering over your shoulder about paying them back, or this has to be calculated for this bank or this credit card. We don't have to worry about that. Like, we have more time in our hands not to worry about those things. Yeah. So yeah.
What are some things that you guys did afterwards? Like, I saw you went to some convention or something.
Oh, yes.
Like, so what things are you interested in now that you can actually tap into?
Oh, man. That's a good question. The convention that Jackie's referring to is like one of the most financial conventions that I didn't even know this is a thing. I heard that there's Comic-Con, but there's a FinCon.
I did not know this.
Financial convention, like you just. I did not know there was that. This is a thing for that people go to, and I'm gonna start doing that. But basically, we're able to go to these financial conventions to be with like-minded people, just to see what their wins are, their struggles, what they did. Because ultimately, when you're doing something in your life, guys, or you're trying to reach your goal, you want to be with the people that can edify you, that can support you, and at the same time, they understand where you're going through.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be with people that doesn't understand what you're going through, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be fun, and it's gonna be a bit more challenging if you do that. But again, it was great to be around those type of people. We know what we need to do the next time, and I think having the ability to just to go through to do anything that we want to do. Now, I don't want to say we have a lot of money. I'm just saying now we have the possibility of just planning to do it without worrying about debt.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shout your channel out. Shout everything that you're doing.
Guys, I have a YouTube channel. You can find me at ECS07. My name is Ehren Sixon again. Basically, I do like tech talks, money talks, millennial adventures. It's fairly new, so I would like you guys to be part of the circle. And of course, shout out to these beautiful couple, Jox and Jackie. So
we'll definitely put all that in the description and in the show notes and whatnot. But we have a listener matter segment. Do you want to stick around and answer questions?
Hey, all right, guys.
All right, guys. As you know, you guys can email us at michelmatters@gmail.com for any of your listener matters questions. And this week, our first question is, hi, Jackie, you mentioned doing Instacart. What did you have to do on the job, and did you make a good amount of money? Basically, is it worth it to do?
Yeah, Jackie.
Put pressure on you.
What did I do on the job? So there's two different types, at least when I did it, of jobs you could do. You could shop and deliver, or you could just deliver. Or actually, you could be in the store and just do the shopping too. So I've done just the delivery, and I've also done shopping and delivery. And it just depends. It depends on your area, if you make a good amount of money. So like in downtown Miami, you make a good amount of money, or on the beach. Basically wherever people tip. At the time I did it, no, it's not. At the time I did it, it was around Hurricane Irma. So everyone was like trying to get water and trying to, get groceries or whatever. So it was like a hot market everywhere. So I made a good amount of money. But I basically just did it whenever like Jox had a game that was far and I wasn't going to go, drive to Boca for a game or whatever. And I'm like, I could just make some money on the side while he's at a game. He's not going to be home till like 10 anyway. So was it worth it to do? I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it for me now.
Yeah.
But it was at the time.
Yeah. Me personally, I mean, I don't want to dissuade anybody from doing it. I think it's it's like Uber. It's less invasive since, you don't have to have somebody riding with you, or, you can literally just drop things off and go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to the point where I was telling Jackie, like, look, just come home. Like, I think the time at home. So it all depends on your situation. So if you need it, I definitely say go ahead. But if it's just, you're bored or just, I mean, it's good money, but I don't necessarily think it's worth it if you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to knock somebody trying to get money. So.
Yeah. I mean, on the side, it's like I'm doing alterations and stuff. And if I'm noticing, like, I can make $20 in 5 minutes doing an alteration, it's not worth it for me to just do Instacart.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a time filler almost. And just like extra money to put on stuff. So, yeah. Next question. Should I ask this one?
That's on you. I mean, It could get long-winded.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Okay, so this question we'll save because it's talking about our walk with Christ, and I feel like that's a longer episode, on its own.
Yeah, that's an episode.
So next question. How did you guys like private school, and is that the only kind of school you've been to? I'm a parent of a young child trying to figure out if I should send them to a private school, charter, or our local school. I've always gone to public school, but willing to pay tuition if it's worth it.
We're all private school babies here.
We all went to private school at some point in our life.
At some point,
I've been in private school my whole life.
Jackie, whole life.
Pretty much. I went to one public school, and that was in France, so I don't think that counts.
Fancy.
And it was kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
It was a public school.
Pinky up.
It was a public school down the street. How's that
drink
fancy?
the apple juice with their pinky in the air.
Whatever.
Tea time.
So yeah, I pretty much in the States have only gone to private school.
So
Even college.
I guess I could kind of give the mixture because I went to private school. I left the private school system. I went to public, and then I went back and I finished in private school.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, man, there's a high.
What happened? Yeah, you trying to figure out that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did elementary school and 6th grade in public school. I think I only 2nd to 6th was my range of public school. So it wasn't like the most extensive, but I also feel like it wasn't as like, especially at the time, people made public school seem like, oh, it's unsafe, and I never felt unsafe. I definitely noticed the difference though between private and public.
What are the differences?
I mean, way more kids, because that was one thing. I went to a pretty small private school, so getting used to way more kids. The teaching was not different, but like I think I was more ahead coming from private school going to public school. But I was also young, so it's kind of weird that gap. And I was always young for my class as well. But I felt like I was ahead coming out of private school, but the opportunities I feel like I had in public school were way more extensive because like they had more programs.
More like a lot to offer.
Yeah, they like I was in a gifted program. There was like an after school like academic excellence program is what they used to call it. They provided more sports at that age for people in the school, and it's just different arts, and it just had all types of programs that you can't do when you have a limited amount of people and resources in a private school. But it also depends which private school you go to, because the more money you pay, the more opportunities you have as well.
Right.
So you kind of get what you pay for in private school. So I'm an advocate for both. I don't mind. I see the benefit of a private school, but public school is not, the worst possible option that you can have. Education is what you make of it at that point. Like, I feel like you study, you do your work. I mean, school is school, but safety-wise, I don't think it's as big of a threat as people make it seem, even though times are crazy now.
Yeah, it depends on where.
Yeah.
How was your private school experience?
Okay, so like you, Jackie, private school my before college, like from kindergarten to high school. But again, like I think we talked about this off air, was like are we talking about a private school or a private Christian school?
Yeah.
Just want to know
there's a difference.
Yeah. Now the thing is, when I was growing up, I had friends that were not from the private school, came from a private school, and they said, "Oh, you're in a Christian school, but it's just in the name. It's just the same. There's nothing different." But I guess from my experience going to a private Christian school, I mean, God was more dominant in our lives. It was more available to us to have a relationship with God and not be worried about it. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, no matter where you go, kids can be mean. Yeah. Right. They can. There's no filter. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want your kid to grow up to be right, to be well, and well off with his life in adult, it starts at home. Like if you want that kid to have the right skills in life, you have to do it yourself too. Yeah. I mean, you can. I understand that your kid is going to be in someone else's hand for most of the day, but your impact has to be much greater than the teacher sometimes when you want them to be in the right path in life.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what would I even do, because I think I'm open to all of those, private, charter, public. I think it depends on what you know about the school too.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like that we went to school with, their parents knew a lot of people that worked at the school, whether they, went to church with them or they worked with them, and they were like, oh, send your kid here. My kid goes here, or whatever. Like, there was some type of tie, or they've been going there for so long that it's like, oh, now, you feel like family. So once you start trusting people, I don't know, it gives a different perspective as far as like the school.
It's crazy. Testimony is such a big deal. Like, if you hear someone else's testimony, like, okay, if this person says it's really good and I know this person and like I trust this person, like it affects your decision making.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like now there's so many different like school vouchers and different programs. Paying for tuition now is not as difficult as it used to be.
Right.
Like, there's Step Up for Students, there's McKay scholarships, there's all different type of things that if you're interested in those options, like, they make it very accessible for people. So I think that used to be like a barrier of entry. It's like you can only go to private school if you have a certain amount of money. Now it's so open. I feel like they're kind of on par. Like, you could go anywhere and get a similar type of education and meet similar people, but I do stand behind like the Christian school education because I see what it did for me. I don't think you're not gonna go. It's not all Christian people. They're going to kids are kids, but just the emphasis on my core values and all that. Like, I think it's helped me carry those into my like adulthood. So I mean,
but I do agree. I think it starts at home, like you said. So whatever it is, like whatever values you're trying to teach your kids, it starts with you, and then however you go about it. Like, if they do go to public school, it's like, it's the real world. There's going to be people who believe different things, and what you believe at home you carry with you, and they're going to have to maneuver through it at school, like just like they're going to do in their adult life at work. So yeah, I don't know, it's up to you at the end of the day, but I think there's good aspects to all of them. And one thing I did like about private school was the small classes.
More attention to the
student. Yeah, if I have a question, I can easily, So,
and my bond to my classmates was like so strong, especially at the time. Like, it was one of my classmates from senior year. Like, we graduated together. Like, especially like we were so small. It's like
everybody knows
Asian
everybody
in the class.
Like him and his brother only is in the school pretty much. Like,
so, for a long time.
And it was still family, like very familial. I went to his church, like we hang out. Like, it's the type of bonds you could build. And I always just say, like, when it's time for senior trip and stuff, like, oh, we should go here, we should go there. I always felt like, look, we could hang out in the parking lot. Like, once we're all together, I know we're going to have fun because it was just like one big family. So, I mean, that's also, something to consider when you're making choices like that. And
just like with the smaller schools, you probably have less resources or whatever programs. You can always, like, check your city for other programs or, like, it depends on what you make it, how you want to parent your child. I think it's not all about the school. You have to go out and find out about different things. Yeah, like Jackie was explaining how to be proactive. Yeah. Like, as a parent, you want to be proactive because this is your child's life on the line growing up. I mean, I guess, like, I had a friend, he has a daughter, and he's wondering, like, bro, how do I explain to my daughter about a girl liking another girl or a boy liking another boy? And how do I explain about, like, these drills of mass shooting? Like, we didn't have that growing up. Yeah. And it's just a different world now. So he's trying to tackle, like, these type of topics for their child growing up, and it's a hot topic. Yeah. So I know it's a big decision. Do your research. Yeah. We're not experts, so go asking her. But we had decent experiences
Yeah.
in a private
I mean,
school and public school.
I didn't feel deprived.
Did you feel safe?
Yeah.
Oh, in school, yeah.
Yeah. And that was like one of those things, like they tell you like, oh, when you go from a small school to like a, you know, college, just in general,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you know, it's like you're not prepared, but I felt prepared.
Yeah.
I didn't struggle. I wasn't like antisocial. Like I could meet people. It's just a bigger school. Like school
Yeah.
is school no matter where you go.
That's true.
So-
Because they could easily get like that college experience and, you know, and see what that's like
Right.
outside of their small school. There was another benefit too, because you said, did we feel safe? Like when we did fire drills, every time we went outside, you basically see the whole school. Right. Or like, I remember when September 11 happened.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we all fit in the gym because there was also like a bomb threat.
Yeah.
In the area, and they were just like, no, we're all going to do, like, the whole school fit in the gym. It's just, you know, an extra benefit, I think. So yeah.
So listen to us. Private school is the way to go.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the smaller the school, the more attention your child has. Because I remember, like, even if I was sick and I didn't go to school, like, the front desk would be like, hey, is everything okay? Like, is she coming in? At a public school, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, you skip class. Well, you need to go to class. That's it.
Yeah, I think if you're the like distinguishing private versus public, I mean, private does seem to uphold a certain standard that's above public school sometimes if you think about it. And I don't know, like when growing up like in the private Christian school, like they kept telling me this is a college preparatory school you're going to. You're going to prepare you for college. Like, okay, that makes sense. Like, if I'm the type of student that doesn't seem to do what I need to do myself, at least the school is at least pushing me to go to that direction. But I'm not sure if public schools. I've never been to a public school, so if you can attest to that, maybe.
I mean, it was middle school, so
Yeah.
they were just getting me ready for more middle school.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
school is school. I stand by that.
Yeah.
But I think it all depends on what you hold important, and it's just research at that point.
Yeah.
So,
But I think either three are good options.
Yeah.
So. And there's even more options for school.
we're
I mean,
not
they
doing
can test the
homeschool.
waters,
I'm
too.
not doing homeschool.
I mean, I wouldn't do homeschool.
Yeah.
Not at like a high school level.
At any level.
Yeah.
Go to school, young man.
Learn
Like,
to be social.
yeah, get up. So,
Find your friends.
But yeah. Okay, so that's it?
yeah, on to the business spotlight.
Yeah.
So for this episode's business spotlight, I wanted to talk about Away. Now they're not small, but maybe they are still small.
You don't have to be small.
Oh yeah, you're right. They're actually sponsor of the podcast, and that's the I don't know why I'm talking so slow. That's the luggage that I use for the Turks and Caicos trip. Now
I don't know why. Was that like an anniversary gift I got you or something?
I don't know, but the whole time I fought it. Like, why do I need luggage like that? Like, that's OD.
Yeah, y'all should
Like,
have seen his luggage before this.
I'm gonna just go to Target.
And he still
I'm gonna get
has
the
it.
threes. Yeah, I do. The 3-piece luggage set. I'm gonna just rock like that.
Yeah.
So Jackie bought me the Away luggage. I believe it's the carry-on version.
Yeah, the bigger carry-on.
And so we took it, or actually when I was packing, and I was just like, man, this thing is small. Bro, I can't lie. They changed it up with that one. Like, just the way that they compartmentalize the suitcase, like, and they kind of tell you, you know, you should probably put certain items on one side versus the other. And then kind of when I did, I was like, this is pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
it stored everything. Like, I feel like and I'm an overpacker for sure. Like if we going on a 3-day trip, I'm packing for 7 days. Like, and I got shoes. Like, you gotta bring the shoes. Foams don't pack well. Like, you gotta make it work. You can't crease them up.
See, I'm different. I take a carry-on for everything. Like, if it's not going with me on the plane, it's not going with me.
You gonna have to check that. but I can't lie, this one was clutch. Like, it really came through.
You're a believer now?
Yeah, luggage, you get what you pay for sometimes. So I really feel like that was a great piece of luggage. And it also has like a charging port for your phone. It's just a little extra, but it's dope at the same time.
Yeah.
And if you go in the like episode description, you'll see we have a link, and you can get $20 off your first purchase. Yeah. Thank me later. But I really enjoyed it, and
yeah.
I think I
was on the side like charging my phone, and Jox was sitting there like,
the poverty.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, couldn't be me. So
but I was like, whatever.
Yeah, like, you over here. Can I move your charge? Nah.
Like his first suitcase couldn't even roll right.
It could.
Like,
I don't know why Jackie tripping.
It was terrible. But now all you gotta do is just hold it up right, and it just rolls in every direction.
Yeah, I can't lie. You walk through the airport a little different when you got
just
that.
A little bit. Right?
A little different. And got a nice color. Got a nice, hurricane green on it. Bulls green, USF green. So it's just kind of It's kind of dope. They have
like different accessories too.
Money
that
green.
You can put on it.
Yeah. Sorry.
They have different accessories you can put on it too, like different. I guess like your initials or different like stickers. Or whatever.
I ain't doing all that.
Sometimes they partner with celebrities to make different collections. I think
Dwayne Wade had
a collection.
My guy.
And just other people had collections too. So, I'm subscribed to their emails just to see what's new, even though I'm not shopping for a suitcase. Right now.
But I can start off with the carry-on. Eventually, you move up to the check, the big boy. Yeah. So that'd actually be cool.
I feel like you gotta upgrade. Your luggage, especially we travel a lot now. So, and then sometimes you travel for work.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm definitely bringing on the guys trip. Something light.
Look like an adult.
Yeah. So, definitely go out and get you one. Thank us later. The link will be in the product description, the episode description.
The product description. Yeah, that's it. I hope this was a very informational episode. Let us know. I put a question on Instagram. If you're paying off debt as well. We kind of talked about our debt-free story before, but we're trying to pay off our home. So let us know what you're trying to pay off. And, just trying to see something.
Yeah. And if you have any other, like, financial topics you think you want us to go over while we're still in this mode, just send it. And if you know someone maybe we should interview, we're always open. So
Yeah. So we're willing to learn, open to meeting other people.
All right.
That's it.
Another one in the books.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bye.
When I pull up on you, then I might swear, ayy, double off